This morning we have two special guests with us, names that you would recognize because for well over a decade we have been supporting two families that have been working in Europe, and it's a privilege to have them with us this morning. I'm going to invite first Fred Sanchez to come to the platform. Fred has been working, it's been 14 years since he's been here, so welcome him back to Grace Brethren Church. Now we're going to play some language games here, so you just be patient with that. I do not speak in tongues, but this is French. But we'll try to. Fred has some questions. I'm going to ask him, and we're going to have him share with us. First, I want you to understand for who sent him to Spain. Qui vous a envoyé en Espagne?
Alors c'est l'église des frères de Lyon, Villeurbanne, dans laquelle nous travaillons déjà, qui nous a envoyés à Madrid.
It's the church, the Grace Brethren Church in Lyon, France, that has sent us to work in Madrid. Many of you know Florent Varac, who's the pastor of that church. So that means, by the way, that this is an example of churches where we send out missionaries. The French Fellowship now is sending out missionaries, and this is a missionary who is a product of our work. But now we come alongside. That's what the Day of Generosity is all about, where we're trying to help the churches in France with the support of the Sanchez family. Now, Fred, tell us a little bit about your ministry. Qu'est-ce que vous faites là-bas en Espagne?
Je pourrais présenter notre travail en 4 grands axes.
My work falls into 4 main areas.
Le premier, en fait, Dieu a permis que je devienne l'aumônier officiel de l'ambassade française à Madrid, et donc je travaille dans les prisons. Envoyé par le consulat français pour visiter les détenus français.
First thing he does is he represents the French embassy, and actually, for example, he goes into the prisons to represent the consulate and work there.
Un second axe, c'est auprès des jeunes adultes. Nous avons chaque semaine des réunions qui réunissent plusieurs jeunes adultes croyants et non croyants.
The second thing that I'm involved in is gathering young people together. Every week we have a special gathering which includes believers and non-believers.
C'est un lieu d'exploration où nous essayons en fait de présenter Christ, Dieu vivant et non pas une religion.
This is an attempt to get them to see Christ not as the living God, not simply a religion.
Le troisième grand axe, c'est l'investissement dans diverses et multiples vies vers lesquelles Dieu m'a conduit. Donc des rencontres hebdomadaires que j'ai avec des personnes individuelles.
Say it again.
Donc le troisième grand axe, c'est le fait que Dieu m'ait envoyé dans des vies, dans la rencontre de personnes clés en Espagne et des personnes que je rencontre jour après semaine après semaine.
The third thing that God has me do is He sent me there to really have contact with key individuals' families in order to, day after day, He's running across these people in whose lives He can share the gospel.
Le quatrième et dernier grand axe, c'est celui de cette petite communauté qui a pris naissance il y a quelques mois.
The fourth thing is a small community, believers, that have been there for several months.
Nous nous réunissons tous les 15 jours dans les maisons.
We meet every 2 weeks in a home.
Et c'est très intéressant de pouvoir, là encore, présenter qu'est-ce que l'Église, qu'est-ce qu'on y fait dans une Église, quelle est la vision de l'Église.
And right now we're presenting, what is the church? What is the vision of the church? What is the work of the church?
Donc merci de prier pour ces grands domaines de notre travail à Madrid.
And thank you for your prayers for this work in Madrid. And now let me ask one last question. What is your greatest challenge? Le plus grand défi?
Le plus grand défi, c'est d'arriver en fait à explorer les Espagnols au point qu'on puisse enlever toutes ces multiples capes qui les empêchent de comprendre qu'ils ont affaire à un Dieu, que nous présentons et nous parlons d'un Dieu vivant.
I think one of the greatest challenges is to help the Spanish people, the ones that we meet regularly, to understand that there is a living God.
Que Dieu lève des hommes et des femmes qui comprennent en fait l'Évangile profondément et dans toute sa dimension.
That God would help these people understand the gospel in all its many dimensions.
Et que fort de cet Évangile, nous puissions toucher des vies et transformer des vies.
And that the gospel would transform lives.
Merci.
Thank you. Our second guest is Alfredo Abreu, who is here from Portugal. This is his first time visiting our church here, but we have been supporting him for well over a decade now. So we want to welcome Alfredo as well. Happily, my Portuguese is 0, but his English is 100%. So, Alfredo, explain your relationship. You're not sent out by Grace Brethren International Missions. Who sent you there in Portugal?
It's the first Grace Brethren Church in Porto, in Portugal, our second largest city. There's a small group of believers there, but who are bold enough to challenge me and my family to go into mission.
So you are another one of the national workers where we as a church have come alongside our daughter church, our fellow church, sister church in Portugal in order to make this happen. And again, that's something we're really emphasizing today. Tell us what are the major parts of your ministry there, the things that you're doing.
Well, there are two sides of our ministry. One is working with the Bible Society. I am the person who runs programs called Bible Engagement. The Bible Society for over 200 years has been taking the Bible to the people, but in that part of the world, in Europe, many people have the Bible and don't read it. So it's our challenge to engage them in Bible reading, bringing the people to the Bible. That's part of what we do, and we run many programs with all age groups. We've been able to involve over 500,000 people in these initiatives in the last 5 years. The other part of the work we do is to start a new church, a new spiritual family in Lisbon, the capital of the country.
And, 20 centuries ago, the Apostle Paul went to Europe. And Christianity has been around Europe for 20 centuries. Why Europe? What is so important about reaching Europe?
Well, Europeans have gone so far away now from anything spiritual. They have rejected the church. They have not rejected God altogether, but then they have no idea who God is. So in a sense, it's like going back through times in history when there was no Christian presence, when the Apostle Paul was coming to a continent who knew nothing about Jesus Christ. That's what we feel. When we talk to young people today, they have no idea who Jesus Christ is. Now, Europe has been through several historical movements, and they have all affected the world. We believe that we are now entering a new historical movement, which we cannot really describe because we are in the midst of the big transition. But what it happens with this transition is that people have layers and layers of concrete on their spirit. It's the layers of history plus all the modern-day communications, entertainment, information, and they are not in touch with their hearts. And so in a sense, it's like we are coming like the Apostle Paul to tell them a little bit about the unknown God. They know there is one, but they don't know who it is.
And so what can we pray for and what can we do to continue to support your work?
I think the main challenge for us, the American missionaries you send to Europe and the European missionaries who work alongside them, it's to be persistent. It's really hard. People don't respond. They are not interested. 10 years ago, people would reject the message, but they are beyond that stage. They couldn't care less. It's not a point in their agenda. So you can imagine when you send someone to live in Europe to proclaim the gospel, that they want to talk about something and people couldn't care less about it. Of course, they are still people. They are still created in the image and likeness of God. They still have a soul. And what we have to do is to be persistent in going through the layers and layers of concrete around their hearts and be there on their side for the right moment when we can make sense of the gospel into their lives.
So even as we pray for persistence for those who are there, it's a good reminder for us. We need to be persistent. We should not fail them in our prayer support. We should be persistent in our praying. We should be persistent in our financial support. And so I want to encourage you that the investment that we make in Europe is an investment that I believe God has called us to. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, to continue that theme of prayer, in your bulletin you'll see a blue sheet. That's our focus for the month. We wanted to coordinate with the ones we have with us today and pray for the Spaniards.